Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As soon as we start this program, remember the number to call is 442-0175. You pick up the telephone, you call, no preamble, and you punch. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, issues trending. It doesn't matter what the topic is. You can always introduce a new topic. Our aim is to encourage people to hold discussion, to be tolerant to the views of one another, to concentrate on the message and not the messenger. We have a nice little country that is democratic. From post-1983, we have changed government without any problems, any conflicts. And the side that loses election, within 24 hours, they congratulated and concede defeat. And that is important in our country. The telecommunication network is liberalized. We can express ourselves. We must do it without trying to disrespect one another. So give us a call. We are on RealFM 91.9. We are on YouTube, Facebook page. So you can give us a call. While I await your call, I'll ask this question. At what age you are prepared to discuss business and investment with your children? Now, some people want to change the world. Some people want to change Africa. But sometimes it's easy to start the change in your own home. At what age you must start to discuss business and investment with your children? You won't get that investment in primary school. You don't get that you would not get that discussion in primary school. You would not have it in secondary school. And even those that go to have tertiary education has not come in encounter with that discussion. As a people, we must be prepared to discuss business and investment. You hear the banks ask you to save, and they encourage your children to save and put it in the bank. And if you check good, you lose the money in the bank. In some instances, your children lose all the money they save. When, as a people, we would start to discuss business and investment. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I just like to back up, but
I think that's the best thing to do, man. Test the pitch.
Now, you was on a very good topic, but I think as I move around...
Change the topic, man.
I'm changing it because people expressing a lot of fear these days in this country just recently. I don't know what causing that. And so I would like for callers to call and give their own opinion on how they think, because we don't want to blame anybody for the upsurge of crime these days and gun violence in this country. We don't want to blame government. We're not saying government responsible. We're not saying police. We're not. I would like people to give what they think and who they think responsible for we to just suddenly have. It's very sad. Every month, every weekend, you hear about a different shootout somewhere. And this thing just developed in such one of the best in the country, in the Caribbean, which was the most peaceful. We don't want to lose that name. So I would like people just give their little advice, what we think or who we think responsible for such upsurge of violence these days. And before I leave, Mr. Pierre, I was asked for you to do some research if you could in your own. But there is some workers came from the Mongjul estate by me, and they told me I mentioned it in my soccer, but I will mention it with you as well. That they saw a group of Chinese came on the Mongjul estate and taking out pictures and whatever. They say they will be back this week. So they want to know. They don't know if it's risk, because this government is not speaking. They don't. Nobody from the Ministry of Agriculture told them anything. So they worry. They want to know if the Chinese take over the estate, whether they will be working still. So workers very much concerned. I don't have the full information whether they're coming to take it over or they're just having a look or whatever. But they will be back there this week. I heard I was there last week, and they're coming back and they're going through the fields. So this is strange movement. I don't know why this government have to hide. What they have to hide? They're not speaking. And this is why right now your program going to be very interactive on most occasions, because people of the street, chatters of the street saying, we got to ask Mr. Pierre some questions because the government people are not answering. So I don't know how you go do that, because the government people are not answering some of the major questions they're asking them. What is going on? So firstly, I said, let us discuss what we think causing this upsurge of such gun violence which erupted recently in this country. I will stop there for now.
Yes, man. Well, I don't. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
This gun violence, I think, didn't just start yesterday. It didn't just start now. I don't know if you can recall some years ago when a certain artist in the town of Guelph, among some other residents, blocked the road, and the police went, and instead of just moving and clearing the road, they went and negotiate. I don't know if you can recall that. They went and negotiated with them to clear the road. Right? You had the riot squad out, and they did nothing because they were negotiating. And it built up from that. That sort of disrespect to the law built up from there. But Mr. Pierre, on another note, in terms of what this gentleman just saying, he cannot confirm about the Chinese, what they're doing there. Maybe we don't need to know. So why worry about it?
Yes, an interesting position. Yeah. Well, so I'll respond to the first question. What do we believe is responsible for the upsurge in crime in the country? I always say to people, Mr. Blaze, say Grenada is like milk on fire. You're watching it, you're watching it, you're watching it. As soon as you turn back, it boil up and fall. And George Brizan called it the island of conflicts. And the Americans say it's a false calm. So we have the capability, we have the capacity, we have a culture to end up in violence. Remember, Grenada is the first country in the English-speaking region that assassinated a minister of government. That is Innocent Belma. We also is the first country that executed the prime minister and his cabinet. Yes, caller. Yes, caller, welcome. All right. We're the first that executed the prime minister and his cabinet. We burn the body. After we kill them, we burn the body. And we bury the remains. We also killed the commissioner of police in Grenada. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Pierre, I listen to all the program, and nobody, none of you two, to condemn crime in this country. Let me tell you, Mr. Pierre. You see this
Caller, hold on a while. I want to hear what you're saying, but sometimes it'll just go down. I don't know if you're moving away from the mic. So right? And your voice getting low, you're going down. And sometimes when I'm calling you, it's for that purpose. And then you're racing. So work with me.
I listen to all the programs in this country, and nobody never condemned the violence in this country. Mr. Pierre, I condemn all violence, gun violence in this country. And none of you never condemn it. Instead, are you glorifying it? Are you encouraging it? Instead of condemning it, are you only playing for political purpose? I call on you to condemn the violence in this country and not to glorify it. That's why you don't say that for, because are you condemning it? Are you glorifying it? Are you putting on government? Are you putting on this and that? But what are you condemn it? But are you condemn it? Mr. Pierre, I've been listening to Pierre yesterday. And so he make the representative from Togo make a point. Mr. Pierre, at the stroke of a pen, we have transformed 200 people in this country.
Caller, you going down again and I can hear you clearly. And sometimes when I try to interrupt you, it's for that purpose.
By the stroke of a pen, as the Prime Minister said, we make 300 persons permanent in this country. And we intend to bring a new pension scheme. So we will make another 1,000 permanent in this country. And I want all you to think about that. Good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Sometimes when I interrupt people, it's because I can't hear them well. And they think I want to stop them. So they're racing through. We want to have conversation with people, and we listen to the views of others. Now the question the caller asks, what is responsible for the upsurge in crime in the country? And I was expressing what I believe, that we have this underlying tendency to get involved in actions that could raise eyebrow. So sometimes governments have to be aware of that. And I put squarely the upsurge in crime at the feet of the members of the National Democratic Congress. I think they are responsible for the upsurge in crime. Like they interfere with a Pandora box. They take out the genie from the bottle. And as quick as possible, they should try to put it back. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
I will say that the National Democratic Congress is one of the biggest responsible for crime, the upsurge of that crime in the country. By the Prime Minister's statement in Parliament, and he's not saying anything, because when the incident with the three persons get away from the South St. George police station and went into St. Vincent and they killed the people, he never said anything. Not one of them said anything until lately, and trying to blame it wholly and solely on the NNP. Everything they want to blame NNP. These people and them need to go. They need to go. The National Democratic Congress is one of the worst government that ruled Grenada in history. I have never seen more than any time than now. These people and them, the Prime Minister is a waste of time. He has to go. He don't do nothing. He's a waste of time. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I contribute to the fact that the government have to bear some responsibility. The present government is acting as a catalyst to speed up the amount of antisocial behavior we have. Why do I say that? And I agree with the caller. Some of the statements that was made in Parliament is divisive, is fractious, is demeaning, it's insulting, it's degrading to some people. When you hear so many of the members of parliament has a culture now that I am better than you. Classless people, beggy people, greedy and needy, good and bad, commoners, lunatics and idiots. This is a language that coming from the chief shepherds. In addition to that, the government from day one has been aggressive towards the elderly, the physically challenged, and even disadvantaged children. And it's not the first time. In 1990, the NDC was accused of doing that. But it was the first time, and people argue left and right. That is not the intention. In 2008, 2013, they did that. And no again. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre? Good afternoon.
Yes, caller, go right ahead.
All right. Mr. Pierre, if the leader of the opposition go on the platform and say things what he see don't going on in the country, I don't know where these NDC people are there, if they like what's going on. People must see things going on and tap when they see things going on. You can't side what's going on. Don't come and talk about all the time keep Mitchell there and this and that and the other. I never know all this thing going on since I know election day, politician day in this Grenada, you know. You don't watch what's going on. You don't listen to what's going on. Huh? Last election, a man he go on campaign, don't vote Victor. Vote for this, vote for NDC. He lie down in the bed and he can't do nothing and he want to walk, come on platform and talking about Dr. Mitchell this, Dr. Mitchell that. They're separating the sheep from the goat and when they finish they want to come and run them out. Mr. Pierre, this country is not running the way you have to run. We cannot sit in here and seeing things going on and don't talk.
Now, who prevents you from speaking?
Mr. Pierre, how this thing could going on and nobody can say nothing? And say the gun crime is the time he come now. That is not the leader of, that is not the prime minister's business. Who business? Mr. Pierre, who business?
But that is the question I was answering you.
So,
well, let me answer you that question. Let me tell you who I think is responsible for that. So I will continue to say that the government didn't send anybody and kill anybody or shoot anybody.
Nobody did that. But he is the security of the country. And when things go on, you have to come and take, if you don't mean what you say, but you're supposed to come and say something. Take out shame in your eyes. Because you is the country leader. Come out and say something. Monday morning, every day is like, when you have a gun going and shoot Gigi and Maniku, that is how human beings come down to. Why this thing has to go on in the country? Everybody has to shut their door now. You don't have to shut. You can't live in peace right now. Mr. Pierre, come on, man. We have to do better than that. We got to do better than that.
All right, thank you, Colin.
That's my opinion. And who don't like it, that's the business. But I see what I could see. Who don't want to see, tell them I said, get glasses. They share a lot of glasses in Sotes. Pick up and put glasses in there to see what's going on. Mr. Pierre, enjoy.
Thank you, caller. You see, we have to be observant of what is going on. I am not surprised of the upsurge in crime. And if you've been listening to my program for the past 4-5 years, I've always said the writing is on the wall, that we're going to have an upsurge in crime anytime somebody opened that bottle. And what Dick Mitchell did was to open the bottle and remove the genie. the NDC actions has served as a catalyst for the upsurge in crime. The NDC policy has served as a catalyst for copycat action. This upsurge in crime is going to slow down. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop. It's going to slow down for a while. Our tolerance level for crime, for gun crime, will be greater. We already have a high tolerance level for cutlass crime, because the cutlass was the weapon of the choice. Now it seems that the gun is becoming the weapon of the choice. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, afternoon. Mr. Pierre, saying before NDC came into governance, while they were outside there, remember there are some people on the program encouraging people to disrespect the seniors, to disrespect leaders. Mr. Pierre, that was in outside there, an election call, and they in governance now, and it's the same thing they continue to do, right? Encouraging people to disrespect others. When you have you as leaders disrespecting, encouraging other people to disrespect others, what you find going to happen? People will not look at people as nobody at all, and they feel they could do anything they want to people, right? Because when you, as a government, you have to encourage people to respect the laws, respect authority, respect the seniors, and young people. Respect goes both ways. But when you look at what is going on in our country, when you have people to respect people, and they then say they could just continue to disrespect, they could do what they say they could do what they want, and they want to say what they want. That will bring a breakdown in crime, and especially when you have the poor people that are working, they were sent home, not because they did anything wrong, because of victimization from this present administration. Mr. Pierre, you will find the crime, the rise of crime will be up and up. And when you look at what is going on in the country, crime is up. What? Because people that can have or working and they get some money, when they want to do it, they're out of a job. They're out of a job, and the government putting nothing in place to help that. Instead of they sit down and have a proper plan, right, how to solve the problem. Whenever something happens, they're from flying, it's traveling. And what I recommend, Mr. Pierre, whenever, I don't say all the time, when time you have the prime minister traveling, is some crime, a crime took place, somebody die, it's traveling. And I would say, if there is something going on in the country as a leader, as the father of a home, and your home on fire, yes, you might get an invitation to go somewhere, but yes, sometimes you have to put up and try to solve the problem home. But this government right now, they don't come to solve problem. Well, how I look at them, they come to create more problem for the people of Peter Martinique. And I could say this government is going in history, Mr. Pierre, the worst government that ever passing. A government that is anti-poor people. Anti-poor people because when you see what they are doing, Mr. Pierre, it's not easy.
Uh-huh.
It's not easy, Mr. Pierre. It's very, very bad for the poor man. Because when you go on, like your children, I know sometimes you don't have to do it, but then when it's at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you have nothing to do. And you see in the Baba Bronja already. You won't take it, right?
But you don't have to do
You
that.
don't have to, right? You don't have to. I know,
You see, poverty don't have much to do with thieving.
No, that's your environment.
Because the most amount of thieving that go on is people that have a lot of money.
Exactly true.
Poor people could be very generous people,
yes.
and they share what they have.
They show what they have.
Right?
Right?
Thank you.
That's true, because the most biggest crime committed is men who work with jacket and tie committing crime.
Yeah, thank you.
So I called upon the government, try to do better, change your policies towards the poor man, towards the poor people, change the policies, and consider every human being. Those who up and who down in the middle, we are all human beings, we are all created. All right, so
yes, caller. The question of the upsurge in crime in our country. Yes, caller, welcome. What you think contributed to the upsurge in crime in our country? Let's go, caller. Yes, caller. We lost that caller. You know, crime could cause serious problem. When you have an upsurge in crime in your country, it could cause a breakdown in confidence. Yes, caller.
Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes.
And good evening to your listening public. Mr. Pierre, I just want to make a statement here. Some time ago, the Prime Minister mentioned in his capacity as Minister of National Security, he said, if you look at the community around the Caribbean around as a whole, they say it is a gun pandemic. And it's just a matter of time before it shows how does the Minister of National Security or the Prime Minister is responsible for that. That statement in the Parliament was a nasty statement. I don't want to go delve much into it, but it's a nasty statement. It doesn't call for. He has everything to do with it. He has the right to indicate to his men that we have to put things in place to avoid this thing when it comes to our show. We have to know how to deal with it, and we have to be prepared to deal with it. And that is the first step. That is the first mistake. I'm advising them now. As national security. That is the first step. And the second step is to give the police the authority and bring back a number of crime-fighting personnel in this country. The men that fight crime all their life. Sergeant Gill, he fight crime all his life.
Well, we have a very good police force. So even if some men have moved on and the government get rid of some men, the police force don't break down overnight.
Well,
and what you want to do now is to prevent the things from happening.
Exactly.
Because most of the people who are involved in the gun thing will be apprehended.
Well, hopefully they will be apprehended. But
the police in Grenada have a high rate of solving crime.
Crime, yes. Now you have a few men they know that is responsible for helping and the crime in this country. You have Mr. Hall, you have Mr. Putin. These are the men that walk along fighting crime.
But if they left, maybe they get fed up with the force.
And 20-something men, senior policemen, within the last few months has left the RGPF. And these are men who have the know-how. These are men who have the talent. These are men that could put their hand and say, this is the man that committed that crime. And as much as they will look for others. But when you have the leaders, the people who take the lead, and you sideline them, you could...
Yes, scholar. You're breaking up.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as I say, I think the government is directly responsible for the upsurge in crime. And government wouldn't take advice from people like me. We in Tong Long. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been on my program saying that I believe there will be an upsurge in crime. Government serves as a catalyst because of their policy. And the government must abandon the policy of restorative justice. Restorative justice, in its practicality, is a question of vengeance. And the government introduced that policy and want to entrench it. The government set up MIT, and the mobilization part of MIT is for political victimization. The government said they was going to legalize weed. And all the people who are involved in drugs and weed growing waiting. The government practically made a social movie with weed. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, brother.
This is the voice of one crying in the wilderness of Grenada, for Grenada. Mr. Pierre and the listening audience, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pidimantnik. Grenada is in trouble. Grenada is in trouble. From the time of the People's Revolutionary Government under Maurice Bishop, Grenada enjoy, if you notice, Grenada enjoy that peace and tranquility under Dr. Kit Mitchell and the new National Party. Just look at the trend from then to now. Now, if we look at the period of the new National Party under the leadership of Dr. Kit Mitchell, we will see what you call the peace and stability of Grenada during that period of time. Yes, there was crime, but we cannot compare to what we are seeing here in a short space of time as this new administration takes over. I think what we need to do presently right now, each and every one of us, the direction that we see Grenada is taking, it is not a good direction for Grenadians. And I believe it is time now, in as much as we see, and I agree with you, Mr. Prime, Mr. Pierre, that I blame this administration for the upsurge in crime. You understand? Because unless you put things in place that can be able to build our economy, and people is that because when his government came into office, they victimized a lot, but just kicking out people out of job. If young people, there was a lot of good program for young men and young women, and all these programs are abundant. You understand? Now, when you have the cost to look at it presently right now, the course and direction that the country is taking, I am saying that unless we equip, now listen, as Mr. Pierre rightly said, Grenada has a good police. Many of the good police officers has been demoralized. Those who knew how to fight crime. Yes, they have to move on. But as it is present right now, what we are seeing right now in Grenada, where the guns are concerned, we have to ask ourselves the question, yes, Grenada have a good police force, but the question we need to ask ourselves, how equipped are the police to face what is happening now in our public? How equipped are them? The police is saying they are afraid. And the reason why they say they are afraid, some of them, is because they are not equipped.
I think the police is equipped, you know. I think the problem here is the government is interfering with the rank and file of the police.
And then
that's where the problem is.
And Mr. Pierre, and then this is where they're not equipped. Because if you're going to push your mouth and your hand where you do not suppose to push it where the police force is concerned, then you're demoralizing them. You're totally demoralizing them. And look at it now. With all the crime that is taking place, as it is presently right now, Mr. Pierre, as it is right now, the Prime Minister left and go to Ghana in the midst of the crime that is taking place. You are the Minister of National Security.
Are you surprised?
I don't surprise
the Prime Minister has been traveling as if it's a joke. It's like when somebody leave money, get a son on drugs, and they gone in Las Vegas and gamble. They go away, and that is what is going on.
But Mr. Pierre, I don't disagree that the Prime Minister have to travel.
Travel for what?
But in the
Prime Minister going in Dubai with such regularity.
Yes.
For what?
But in the time of trouble, in the time of crisis.
But the Prime Minister ain't seen no trouble in.
In the time of crisis, you have not addressed the nation. You didn't get the commissioner of police. You didn't come and say, listen, well, we give you hope. This is what is happening. No. Mr. Pierre, have a good evening, sir.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we hoping, and I think we comparing sometimes the Prime Minister with other government. This is the worst political leader we have in the country. This government is telling more lies than all other government put together. The Prime Minister is telling lies without compunction. The Prime Minister is traveling perhaps more than all Caribbean. I've never heard a Caribbean politician travel as the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister going in Dubai as if it's a joke. The Prime Minister is living an exorbitant, luxurious party life. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon to you, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
How are you?
Good, man. Great.
Mr. Pierre, as far as I'm concerned, the government have no respect for the Prime Minister because since he was on the campaign trail, he was talking he could do better than the previous Prime Minister.
And encouraging people to use obscenities on the campaign.
Exactly. Because if you have no respect and you keep telling lies to the nation, the same nation people you have to govern, do you think they're going to respect you? Do you think they're going to take your word? Whatever you say, they're disrespecting you. They don't care what you say because when they see you, they say you're a liar. Whatever comes from your mouth, they don't trust you because you're telling lies. You come like you're born to lie. Everything he say, he's lying. When he came, what he was praying to? He was praying to a dead man, Maurice Bishop. Yes, Maurice Bishop knows to use the gun, but he's a young man. As I said before, he never know Maurice Bishop. And he was praying to him. He loved him. Today is your birthday. So when he prayed to Maurice Bishop, Maurice evoked Maurice Bishop's spirit. Now tell him now, if he's so good, tell him to send back Maurice Bishop's spirit. Tell him to send back the spirit of Maurice Bishop. He can't do it. So no, he can't help nobody. He just have to maybe call on Maurice Bishop again to help him. He can't do nothing for this country because nobody respects his words. A man's word is the bond. Any word comes from a man's mouth. That's the bond. People must respect you, no matter who you are. And he's the head of nation. The nation is also build our nation. His word must have respect. Nobody respects him. So what kind of prime minister he is? What kind of prime minister he is? As far as they're concerned, people fed up with him. They want him to go. So he might as well pack up his bundle and go. Mr. Pierre, have a...
Yeah, you see, the government, we as a people have to take a deep look at ourselves. We want to be dismissive of the elderly in our society. We want to have no respect for the elderly. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Brother Pierre.
Yes.
I just want to chime in there to this topic is a very important topic today, so I just want to share.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, so you're looking at what could be...
What is responsible, what caused the upsurge in crime?
Yeah, okay. So here I have a couple of points about that. First of all, I will look at poverty and equality, right? That is basically socioeconomic disparity and widespread poverty that could lead to depression, frustration, and a sense of hopelessness among certain segments of the population, right? You could also look at lack of social infrastructure. That's dealing with underdeveloped, often in underdeveloped countries, often struggle with inadequate social infrastructure, including limited to education, health, right, and employment opportunities. So that in doing that now, this can limit personal and professional development, leaving people vulnerable to engage in criminal activities. You could also have drug trafficking and organized crime. Small countries as ours, located along major drug trafficking routes, we are susceptible to increased violence due to tough wars between rival criminal groups, as which we are seeing today. Right. Also, we talk about it could be weak law enforcement or included and corruption, right? And these are some of the things. We can also look at gang-related activities in some areas. In some cases, small underworld countries may witness the formation and growth of local gangs, right? And also, we can look at historical and political factors. Sometimes violence can be a result of historical conflicts. Sectarian tension, civil war, political instabilities, right? But also, as I said, limited to gun control and available inadequate firearm regulations and law enforcement can contribute to an increase in gun violence. Easy access to firearms can escalate conflicts and lead to higher levels of violence within the society. So, Mr. Pierre, those things that I researched and saw there, I could see it really fitting at the moment in Grenada. We have these things coming, especially when it comes to the poverty part of it and the access to access to ability to earn one's own money. So if there is no place for employment, I like to always, I heard normally when there are old people, they used to say something which I looked at and said, man was born to survive. And he's willing to work to do that, but if he can't, he has to secure his family, so he'll do what it takes. So when you have like all the programs that was the last government had in and put in, and all these things have been taken away, people who had jobs, you're taking it away from them. People who eventually get you know what I mean, you get upset, you get, you know, they have to find something to do. So if you take out these things and you take out that sector of the population that cannot do nothing, they have to revert to other things. So we must be careful about what is happening. And not only that, if you're not showing a farmer sense of management where it trickles down to everyone, than only to one sector of the society, you know, we're going to have serious problems. So I am praying and hoping that our political leader and his team, you know, really look at those things and take what is happening now seriously, and let us stop this thing, because we're not really accustomed to this kind of lifestyle. It's not a good lifestyle. Little countries like our country depend a lot on, as I say, tourism. And Grenada was one of the potential places for people to visit because of its safety and security itself. So if we start to have those things breaking down, where we're making our little money, right? Where everybody making a little money through tourism, all that will cut back. And we cannot depend on and hope that the selling of passports, or if you want to call it that way, is going to keep our economy going. So, Mr. Pierre, that is my 2 pence, and I hope, you know, whoever is listening, we really take up a page and really decide to look into this thing, because it's serious. It's coming up on us, and we should not let it fester. We should try to take control of it. Thank you very much.
Caller, I could not have done it better. All the underlying factors you said that we have it. What has happened is the government removed open the bottle. Other governments was aware of that, and they addressed the social safety net program. They show confidence to people. They will be careful with the language they use, and they didn't flaunt the law with impunity. And here we have a government. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, I listened to the last caller. Now, I don't think he's fair. However, if you listen to me, I'll say it. The government paid the pension to people, okay? That pension money was supposed to bring benefit or whatever to the majority of people, right? So you have a situation where money was supposed to be circulating because we paid the pension. Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah? Yeah. So we paid the pension, so those money was supposed to be circulating. So we cannot say money now, because
did it circulate?
The pension was paid.
Did it circulate?
You have to answer that.
Well, yeah, the caller is saying the factors.
No, listen how sarcastic I am. The fact is that they said that the pension is what will save the country, save the economy, because the pension money is like everybody got pension. So forget the little boy and them that used to get there, and the people that used to walk on the road. Forget them. We paid pension, so that's supposed to solve it. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say, really. But that didn't help. That caused, it's like a big stone that fell on the island, because not all of us got. And those that didn't get, we were treated as commoners, because we didn't get pension. So we treated as commoners and stupid people with no sense. So those that have sense, they got pension. The rest of us got nothing. All right? So this is what happened here now. We see the economy grind to a halt. Okay? We've seen the economy grind to a halt, and we're pretending we don't know what's happening. So when fellas trying to make a dollar, like one lady called this station this morning, when are you sell marijuana for people or drugs or cocaine or whatever, they must give them all the money. So what she's saying is that most of the riots and whatever is going on is because those folks are selling drugs, and the money is not going to those big agents that's supposed to be collecting it. This is an area that the government is supposed to be studying, because those of us that have monies, we able to buy drugs and sell and give fellas, young boys to sell for us, and they're not bringing all the money to us. So we gunning down one another. And then the other stories are, which concern me, is the fact that you have a lot of agents, what do you call them? Security agents, folks doing security for the government and other areas. Okay, they're securing the schools, they're securing the hospital and different areas. And I believe that those folks are being given ammunition to defend themselves. Do we check those ammunition, or how regular do we check them to see how they are being used? If they are being used in the rioting that's going around, do we check them to see? Who is responsible for checking those ammunition that is being given out to the policemen? Not the policemen, but the security guards that you have around. Who is checking those things? I believe that most of those weapons that have been used, gunplay, to see how good we are with the guns. Thank you.
Yes, well, a number of factors, and we must sit down and discuss that issue in the rum shop, in our homes, on the block. What is contributing to the upsurge in violence in Grenada now? And the gun and the cutlass becomes the weapon of choice. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
yes,
could you tell me which party will be benefiting from the government in this country?
You tell me, I don't know.
Well, I believe it's the party who are pushing it, because them never condemn it. All they're doing, they're giving the reason why it's taking place.
Caller.
He gave 100
Caller, what you think is contributing to the increase of the upsurge in violence now? Let me hear your position.
The people who encourage it, they don't condemn it, such as the car before.
Caller, what is called the caller? What's wrong with you? What is?
He give 100 reasons why, but he never.
Okay, caller. All right, thank you. I believe that it's going to get worse. And if you've been listening to me for the last 5 years, I've been saying within the next 5 to 10 years, we could see an upsurge in violence. What has happened is the government opened the jar. The caller gave the underlying factors that contribute to violence. Upsurge in crime. When these things happen in the country, there are also some factors you do to keep the genie in the bottle. Grenada was spending more money on social safety net programs than any other person in the region. Government was fighting to make work for people. The government had over 3,000 people in the Imani program. Government ministers was talking about, let us be inclusive. We is for everybody. Government was interacting with the press on a daily basis. Ministers was constantly answering questions and having interaction. One of the biggest reasons for crime, maybe these crimes don't start yet. But when the government establish restorative justice, you're going to see more crime. Because the government restorative justice is a vengeance program. You cannot do that. Grenada is a small country. The government need to immediately abandon the restorative justice policy. Disband MIT. Remove the mobilization part of MIT. That mobilization part is for political mischief. The government must give public information on the plundering of GDB Bank. The government must give us information on the several ministers that are selling passport. The Prime Minister must explain what he going in Dubai and do. Because the ministers now seems to be living luxurious life at the expense of the people. The government claim that the ministers can work for that. They're going to get corrupt. But if you can work for that, you will get corrupt. And you more than double your salary. While you're doing that, you contributed to over 3,000 people losing their job. You're destroying vendors' booths on the roadside. You refuse to employ the debauchers and you're insulting them and telling them it's handout they was getting. What you expect? Every action going to come about with an equal and opposite reaction. People are hearing that you gave millions of dollars in contracts. You flaunt the law. It was supposed to be 15,000 maximum. But you decide to flaunt the law. And some people got over $100,000 in contract without going through the procedure. You flaunt the law. If the government of the day is flaunting the law, the Prime Minister was on social media with what look as an illegal weed tree. That must have been a license for individuals to get the iron dog. Because they say, yes, the government legalized the weed in truth because the Prime Minister had the weed tree. So the people involved in drugs get the iron dog. Remember, the criminals is studying the government too, you know. If you go into the police force with a fine comb to get blue blood, a green blood, the criminals going to know that you have a police force that is weakening morality. If the rumor is the Prime Minister is not talking to the Commissioner of Police, they have to use a medium to exchange ideas. The criminal mind in the society knows all is not well, and they would maximize the effort to take advantage of it before you fix it. That is why I say the government of Grenada, led by Dick Mitchell, is the chief contributor to the upsurging crime. When you have your chief shepherd, your ministers, speaking about people in such derogative and dismissive manner, what you expect? What do you expect? I am not surprised. I believe it's going to stable down. But when it's stable down, you don't go away. What happens is that people are going to talk about it less because our tolerance level for crime will increase. It's unfortunate and sad. The government removed the genie from the bottle. They must do what is necessary to put it back. I know they won't listen to people like us, but maybe the elderly ones in the NDC must counsel them. Tell them you can't treat people so. In the 70s, we used to call people illiterates, dumb, stupid, stinking gay rights. That was in the 70s. We have to be careful, you know, and I hope the police is wise enough to know they mustn't start firing their gun indiscriminately. You know, because the issue could come between the public and the police. As soon as the police shoot somebody, and particularly if the person is under unacceptable circumstances, you're going to hear about police brutality. You have to have special regards for the police in Grenada, you know. They have shown a lot of tolerance. People have thrown water on police in conflict, water or substance on bottles, and the police didn't react. People punch police don't react. But the police could get trigger happy too and start to fire gun behind running criminals. And then the issue would be police brutality in Grenada. That is what happened in the 70s. This thing replaying as a recurring decimal. And the police must be very careful that they don't fall in the trap. So you have Grenada jumping up about victimization now. The government going to dump you as soon as they have victimization. They won't want this thing. So the police have to be careful. So far you have been doing an excellent job. I look at you in Carnival. I observe you during the COVID-19 pandemic. You perform above par. You must continue, men and women of the police force. Don't fall in the trap of getting all emotional and woke up and start firing your gun because you have a legal one. Be careful. The criminals and those who involved, they are not taking you on yet. But you could get trigger happy too. Don't fall in the trap. It's a trap. This upsurge in crime must be laid at the feet of Dick Mitchell and his group. It's a greedy group. And they want to live an extravagant lifestyle while they are hostile to the needs of the ordinary man. What some of the workers in Grand Bay Estate that you fire, and the MNIB workers, and the women of Carriacou, and the women of Paul's and area, it seems we stopped talking about them. Not even the union is fighting the case in a serious way. Not even the trade union is fighting the case of the women that loses their job, that lost their job in Carriacou and in St. Andrews and other areas over the country. Unjustifiably so. So we have to be careful. I don't want the police fall in that trap. You have been doing a wonderful job, irrespective of all the problem you have. I always believe you must grow where you planted. And you must understand your role. And don't fall in the trap of pulling out your gun and start to fire shots right, left, and center, because you might not be as fortunate as the others. You might shoot somebody and then the public turn against you. I know it's tempting. And it's a discussion we must continue with. What is contributing to the upsurge of crime in Grenada? And what the government must do in the short term to bring a handle to that situation. And we're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 when you have another opportunity to punch. Thank you very much.